Today I'm showing you exactly how I solo queued and hit gold and higher ranks to get that sweet exclusive Moon Knight skin that I know you and your friends want, and apparently only the top 20% of players or so will ever get. At least as of right now, it says less than 20% of players are in gold or higher. I'm going to break this down for you, and trust me, it's going to be a lot more in depth than just play better. Hello beautiful people, Prophet here. Quick flex, I'm an Unreal ranked Fortnite player, which puts me in the top 0.1% of players globally. I've also never touched Overwatch in my life, so if you're coming in fresh like I did, this guide is perfect for you. So let's get into it. First things really first here, I've got hundreds of hours in aim trainers like Kovacs and AimLab. But here's the thing, you don't have time for that before January 10th when the season ends. Instead of spending weeks training your aim, we're gonna focus on what actually matters for climbing to gold. I've seen way too many guides telling people to just improve your mechanics, or here's how you can practice your aim. That's great long-term advice, but it won't help you actually get that Moon Knight skin in time for this season. What will help you is understanding three key things: hero selection and why some heroes are way better for climbing, basic positioning that even a bronze player can master, and number 3 would be team play that doesn't require voice chat. This is a big one. But before we dive into those 3 key things, let me be real with you about something important. I hit bronze 2 and I dropped back down to bronze 3 5 different times before I finally started climbing. Want to know what changed? I had to make a tough decision about playing with my friends. Look, I love my friends, but they weren't helping me climb, and that's okay. Not everyone needs to be competitive, but I wasn't good enough to carry both randoms and friends who were struggling. So ask yourself, do you want to hit gold or do you want to play with friends? Because unless your friends are genuinely good at the game, they're probably holding you back. This isn't about being mean, it's about being objective. Save those fun games with friends for normal matches. Once I started solo queuing, everything changed. So if you're serious about that Moon Knight skin, only do it with friends who are as good or better than you and will help you climb. And if you like what you see, consider subscribing. It helps me out and it lets me know you want to see more Marvel Rivals content. I'm going to be playing top tier streamers and gamers content in the background for you guys to watch. I actually haven't recorded any of my own gameplay just yet, and these guys are better than me anyway. So let's go ahead and watch and actually learn from the best currently. And I would highly recommend always doing that anyway. I wouldn't watch someone else who's playing in silver or something unless you like their content, but honestly, I would close my eyes to half that stuff anyway. You don't want to watch bad gameplay. Same reason as why you don't practice bad form whenever you're working out in the gym. This would be kind of like the first bullet point almost for you guys, which is you always want to make practice perfect. You want to do perfect practice. You've probably heard that before, but in case you have not, that is something that I would highly recommend you implement regularly, which would be actually watching really good players play. Not just so-so players, but really good players playing the game. Marvel Rivals has 3 main character types: Vanguards, Duelists, and Strategists. Think of it like rock, paper, scissors. Each type has its own strengths and plays completely differently from the others. I know this is going to sound simple, but bear with me here. We want to break this down from a grassroots fundamental level so you can completely understand how to approach this game in the very beginning if you're struggling. Let's start with Vanguards. These are your frontline fighters. Think Hulk, Captain America, Thor. Here's what you need to know. Your job as a Vanguard is to create space for your team, absorb damage, disrupt the enemy team's positioning. It doesn't need to get any more complex than that in these ranks. The biggest mistake I see new Vanguard players make is playing too passively. You're not a DPS hiding in the back. I'm going to say that again. You're not a DPS hiding in the back. You will get punched in the face. You need to get in there and make space. But here's the key. There's a difference between being aggressive and feeding kills. So good Vanguard play looks like this. Push forward when your team can follow up. Use your defensive abilities to stay alive and create chaos in the enemy backline. Be a bully. Always have an escape plan though. Always know, can I just back up where I came from? Where are my strategists at? Are they healing me? Are they not? If you're a Vanguard, never rely on heals. If you get them in these ranks, fantastic. Your healer is so well above average. You should applaud them while you're playing the game. Type in the chat, oh my goodness, strategist person number 4. Thank you so much. You are God's gift to this game right now. I appreciate your help in healing me more than once a game. That's it for Vanguards. If you literally lead the charge as Doctor Strange, you start getting punched in the face, throw your shield up, Hopefully you have a competent DPS or two behind you or on the flanks who are half supporting you even, and you have one half competent strategist behind you occasionally healing you. You're going to be in a great spot. Remember, you're one of the most important characters on the battlefield. If you don't get that capture point, your team is not going to get that capture point, most likely. They need you out there, beefy boy, so get on out there. Next up would be duelist characters. These are damage dealers like Iron Man, Spider-Man, Black Widow. Ugh, let's not talk about her, huh? So your job as a duelist is deal consistent damage, keyword on consistent, secure kills and priority targets, keyword being priority there, pressure enemy supports, and stay alive. A dead DPS means no DPS. Here's the thing about playing Duelist. Positioning is everything. You want to be close enough to deal damage, but not so close that you're an easy target. Think of it like this. If you can't see your Vanguard in these ranks, you're probably out of position. You probably are too far away. You're probably flanking too hard. And let's be honest, you stink at this game right now. You're in bronze or silver probably. Let's act like we're in bronze or silver as far as our skill set is concerned, because that's where we're at right now, right? A good DPS is almost always going to be having their finger on the trigger button. Again, if you're not doing any DPS, you are useless to the team right now. Are you going to heal the team? No, you're not. Are you going to help defend the team? No, you're not. The best defense that you have to give the team is a really good offense. You should constantly be applying pressure. Constantly. Now, again, don't put yourself into a bad position. Don't overextend. Don't flank too hard to where you are too segmented away from your team to where they can't help you, they can't get to you, or it's an easy 2v1 against you at that point, or 3v1 or more. Don't put yourself into compromising positions. And if you don't know where to place yourself, being right behind your tank isn't always a terrible idea. And be honest with yourself as the DPS. If you get a quarter of the way through the match and you aren't doing your job, do you have close to the most kills on your team? If you are one of the bottom two or three players on your team as a DPS, you need to take a hard look in that little Marvel mirror of yours, and you need to ask yourself, do I need to switch to a different DPS, or do I need to help by going Vanguard or Strategist at this point? There's no shame in that. Again, no shame in any of this. How bad do you want to rank up? What does the team need from you in order to rank up right now? Let's talk Strategists. These are your supports and controllers like Luna Snow and Mantis. Your job as a strategist is to keep your team alive, control key areas of the map, set up plays for your team, and stay alive at all costs. The number one rule of playing a strategist in these ranks would be if you die first, your team probably loses the fight. It's really that important. You need to be the most annoying person on the map to kill. You need to be absolutely obnoxious. Use cover, stay near health packs, even as a strategist. Always keep an escape route open. And again, even as a strategist, you have a hybrid role. You're supposed to be dishing out DPS and healing your team. In these ranks, I've been saying this consistently, and it's not to be mean. Again, it's just to be as objective as possible. You can't polish a turd. And what I mean by that is, let's say your team is, oh, I don't know, maybe not very good. And perhaps that's because they're in bronze or silver like you are. So do you think spending all of your time, effort, and energy, your brain power, putting commands in chat for everyone, trying to do the best callouts, do you think the best use of your time is to be healing that one Groot who is not placing down walls to save his life? He's not being as aggressive as he should be. He's constantly being out of position and basically feeding at this point. Do you think the best use of your time is spending consistent heals on him to where now you're not doing any DPS and you're not healing the rest of your team as you should be? You're missing out on key healing aspects to where you could be healing that Hawkeye who had a 9 KO streak who ended up dying because now he's getting focused because the other team found out, oh, their Groot's an ignoramus. We don't need to focus him. So Vanguards create the space. Duelists use that space to deal damage, and strategists keep everyone alive to do their job while also dishing out DPS. When it works, your Vanguard pushes in, creating chaos, Your assaults are following up and or assisting on the flanks, dealing damage to priority targets. The strategist keeps everyone healthy and controls the fight. Beautiful, right? Here are the biggest mistakes that I've seen so far. Vanguards playing too passively, charging in alone, not protecting their team. Duelist mistakes would be poor target priority, overextending, ignoring their strategists. You need to peel and to help your strategists. You need to protect them. They're going to be busy. They're looking at so many things on the battlefield. There's a lot going on, especially when you're in these lower ranks. Everything's new to you. We're all still learning the different buttons. We still have to pull up our hero file. We need to figure out, okay, what's that button again? How do I do that again? We're still doing all of those things right now. So stand in front of your healers at times. If you need healed, don't yell at them. Walk in front of them. Even though you pinged for heals, maybe they need to actually see you on the screen. There's a lot going on right now. We're all new to this. Strategist mistakes I see would be playing too far forward, tunnel vision healing, not using utility abilities. Remember, these roles exist for a reason. Play to your character's strengths and you'll see immediate improvement. If you're just starting out, I recommend trying each role to understand how they all work together. Seriously, jump into the practice range. I think I spent 10 to 15 to 20 minutes on each character before diving into some of them further, the ones that I kind of initially clicked with that made sense to me. But I wanted to know, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that the Winter Soldier could do that. Or, oh, so that's how Hela turns into a bird. Or, oh wow, I had no idea how absolutely busted Psylocke's character could be whenever she uses her shuriken and dash ability. Oh my goodness. Okay, well that's something that I can look out for when I see them in the future now. I'm aware of this. People say, just play any hero and you'll climb. That's terrible advice. Some heroes are significantly easier to climb with, and I'm going to tell you exactly which ones to focus on. Yeah, we've all heard about Hela, DPS Hela. Hela's absolutely broken right now. Her damage output's insane, and she's relatively easy to pick up. Focus on staying at medium range and spam those projectiles. Now, here's the thing with her in particular, because she is hit scan, you can be further back. The reason why I say medium range, we're assuming you have average or maybe even below average aim. Again, you're probably not watching this video if you're someone who's already in Grandmaster. So be honest with yourself. Why are you watching this video right now? And stay around that medium healthy range. There's no shame in that. A lot of pros abuse this mechanic as well, which is fantastic positioning, even with good or busted characters. It doesn't hurt, it only helps you. So Hela's OP. Oh, thanks for that news. Okay, also Hawkeye. Hawkeye's basically a free rank up if you can hit even decent shots. His one-shot potential means you can carry fights before they even start. If you're just spamming down the main lane, you'll eventually even get lucky and hit someone with a headshot. Or continue spamming and you'll do body shots and you'll do enough damage to pin someone down. There have been far too many games between bronze all the way through gold that I've been in where both Hela and Hawkeye weren't played on either side. That's insane. If you want to climb easily and well, if you need that little bit of extra help, it's okay. Pick the busted characters. Go ahead and climb. I'm also going to throw Iron Man out here. Now, here's the thing with Iron Man. If the enemy team has a Hela, a Hawkeye, or really anyone who is shooting you down consistently and it's hard for you to get value with him, definitely hop off of that character. That would be my #1 tip for any hero that you have. If you're not seeing success with them, definitely switch. Even if it quote unquote throws your team comp off. You're in bronze or silver. You kind of stink right now anyway, and so do all of your teammates. Trust me, it's not going to hurt the team comp. You're already losing, you're already going down bad, so hop off of that character before it gets worse. But if you can get value with Iron Man, stay up high in the sky. People are not going to be looking up nearly often enough. They're not. They're just simply not going to be. And most of the time, they're not even going to have the aim if you're just simply strafing back and forth. Even if it's predictable, they're not going to have the aim to be able to take you out consistently where you can be beating down tanks, supports, or even the DPS themselves and get some picks that way. Stay up high in the sky and use natural cover to your advantage. Stay behind buildings, rooftops, that sort of deal, or even just random columns. And then come out, be patient. That's the key with almost any of these roles as well, is just be patient. You don't always have to force a kill. But one of the biggest things that I would say with Iron Man in particular is if you can stay high in the sky in these lower ranks, you can get some absolutely free kills. I'm also going to mention Psylocke here. She does have a higher-ish skill ceiling, so be careful with this one. If you are struggling to rank up, if you haven't put a ton of time into her, definitely feel free to use her. Look at super in-depth guides on Psylocke. I'm not going to break that out in this particular video. However, just know that she has some insane DPS output potential, but I'm just telling you right now, Hela's super easy to use right now. You just point, click, and shoot, baby. I'm going to throw a few names out here for support roles, but just know, play something that is comfortable with you. You will be willing to put more time into that if it's something that you enjoy as well. However, be completely objective with yourself. Look at the scores at the end of your games. How much damage did you end up doing? How much healing did you end up doing? How many lives were saved because of you specifically? That's something that you can mentally recall, or you should be trying to recall. How many times were you put in a rough situation, where a teammate was put in a rough situation? Did you prioritize healing yourself over them, or vice versa? Did you try doing a hybrid approach? Did you just try doing DPS? Did you do any DPS? Did you get a certain number of kills? Did you only have 3 kills for the entirety of the match? Now, there were games where I didn't have many kills, even when I was playing a strategist role. However, it is called a strategist role, so you should be doing DPS and healing, not one or the other, but both. Luna Snow, there's not a whole lot to add here on top of any other videos that you've probably already seen, as far as her ultimate being absolutely busted, countering almost everything in the game. Literally, if you haven't already, and I'm not joking, this will get you out of bronze if you're currently in bronze. Time your Luna Snow ults to counter someone else's ult on the enemy team. For example, if they have an enemy Psylocke and you hear her start winding up that ultimate, pop yours. You'll cancel hers out and then some. You'll still have time to heal your teammates up after that, and switch to the damage part of her ultimate after as well. Mantis is incredibly strong right now too, and she doesn't even have a season bonus, which is insane. She is a bit faster paced character. Her movement is like really quick, and her shots are not hit scan, which basically means they're projectile, which does mean there's a little bit of lag time. So if an enemy is moving, let's say again, you're trying to shoot at an Iron Man, you're going to find that's going to be a more difficult shot to hit than if you're using someone like a Hela to shoot Iron Man, whereas you can literally click on Iron Man's head no matter if he's moving or not, and you will hit him as Hela. Whereas with a character like Mantis with a projectile shot, you would probably miss him just due to the trajectory time for the shot to be able to get there. So that's something to keep in mind between all of these different characters, the ones that are hit scan or not. That being said, Mantis can put people to sleep. And here's a quick tip. If you do put people to sleep with Mantis, right after you put them to sleep, you press the button to put them to sleep, and then you instantly move into dealing damage, you can get 2 free shots off on that person, and they still will not wake up from being slept. So put them to sleep, 2 free shots, and definitely time 1 or 2 or more shots if you can on getting headshots on this person, and you should be able to put down most squishies in the game at that point. I'm going to be honest, I don't think Jeff is super duper strong. However, he's a noob stomper, and he's perfect for bronze and silver if you want to get through these areas. You're going to get so much value out of doing his ultimate, where you swallow up half the or all of the team and throw them off the edge. That's a no-brainer. Seriously, if you're struggling with heals, you're struggling to do something, play Jeff. And I'm not joking. Do you want to win? Do you want to get the gold? And go ahead and play Jeff. Super easy to use, super easy to heal people, super easy to heal yourself. You get a get out of jail free card in these ranks. People aren't going to be able to hit you when you basically go underground and you're swimming around. They're not going to be able to hit your fin hardly ever. So that's a get out of jail free card as well. Play Jeff. If you are struggling in this game, play Jeff. Again, don't feel bad about that. Oh, it's a cheap, but well, here's the thing. Hell is cheap right now to use too. So, and I've been abusing that character as well. So it doesn't matter. Use what you need to use to bolster your team and rank up. For tanks, I'm going to say 2, and that would be Doctor Strange or Magneto. I would literally just throw up your barrier for either one of those characters, and if you're Magneto, go ahead and use your bubbles to protect your friends. And that's most of it right there. We don't need to get overly complex. Now again, any of these characters, I would look up an in-depth character guide for them so you know the ins and the outs of them, practice with them in the practice range, understand every single mechanic that they have, and feel comfortable with them before you go into ranked gameplay with them. I'm also going to say this, don't be afraid to play Doctor Strange because he has portals and you might be like, dude, I'm just not smart enough to even figure out where to place portals. I'm not joking. I have seen one in all of the matches I have played. I have seen one decent portal by a Doctor Strange the entire time that I have played ranked so far. Don't be afraid to play Doctor Strange in these early ranks because you don't know where to place portals. I promise you, no one else knows where to place portals. And I promise you, if you run up the middle seam and you throw up your shield barrier protection thingy, whatever it's called, I forget at the moment, and you have a competent healer, and I know that's you can't always control that. If you have a half competent healer even, you're gonna do okay. Okay, let's talk about positioning. And no, I'm not going to tell you to just position better. Like, I've seen a few different videos mention now, hey, make sure you go on the flanks. Okay, exactly where? Can you give me an example in a video? Yes. Okay, here's a real crudely drawn map. These right here, these enemy X's would be the, well, enemy, I guess. And just imagine that these are flanking paths here. So you can go up this path here, you can come out here, you can come out here. Same thing on this side as well. Again, this is the enemy team, and I just kind of wanted to draw this. I thought this was cool rather than showing you in game, am I right? So anyway, your team is here, right? Kind of like this or so. And then you can go over here. Now, this is kind of sort of a flank, but not really. What you're doing is you're expanding their field of view, which is a good thing. It makes it more difficult for them so they can't be tunnel visioned, or if they are, you get a lot of free value here. But really, you would go up this seam here and come out this side. This would be a flank angle. Over here would be a flank angle as well. Although, if you were to go here, this little circle here, this would be a bad flank to take, especially in these ranks, because all things being considered, you probably have similar-ish skill levels, which is bad because this person right here has a free look on you right away, and then this guy right here just needs to turn around and pew pew, and you're dead. Now, the odds of them actually peeling, turning back, and shooting you, who knows? Still not good. If any of these characters turn around at any point, you're not in a good spot here. Same thing with this flank actually here too. Not great because you have all these people right here, and if you have a competent Groot or anyone, they could place a wall and block off you getting heals from your healers. Where what would be good is, imagine that this is just a big giant open area. This is the giant capture point, right? Everyone's fighting over it right here. Let's actually go ahead and draw that. Maybe the capture point's kind of like this or so, kind of, yeah, around here or so. This is just the capture circle. So at that point, you would probably want to flank somewhere over here-ish, which could be good, or maybe even just down a little bit further, like here or so. This would still be kind of a flank angle to where you're able to get shots on them, but let's assume that these are your healers right here. They're still able to heal you. Look at that. Doesn't that work really nice? And you're expanding, again, their field of view. You can do that on either side. You can flank over here. You can flank down here. Again, over here is not too terrible. Again, it just depends what kind of value you're getting. If you do, I would flank like here-ish. That way you can peek behind this wall, get a right shoulder peek consistently. So you can flank them there. Again, this angle, not good. As you can see, you're just getting swallowed up by the team. So use your brain and don't get swallowed up by the enemy team. Really kind of take a zoomed out approach whenever you're looking at this, kind of like an aerial approach, like mentally in game, to know how hard you should be flanking. In these ranks, you probably shouldn't be doing a hard flank. You might get some value occasionally, but I would do a little bit softer of a flank here. And this is what we mean by when we say taking on a flank or a soft flank or a hard flank. Like a hard flank would be something way out here or maybe even here. These are really tough to do, so just keep that in mind. And again, where are my strategists at? Are they going to be able to heal me? Remember that SpongeBob episode where Squidward finally got good at clarinet? He didn't practice playing, he practiced positioning. Same principle here. 3 key positions you need to know. Health pack locations. Every single map has crucial health pack locations. Learn them, love them, live them. When you're low, you need to know exactly where to go without thinking. Practice this one over and over and over again, especially near your spawn point. You can run back into your spawn point to get healed. You can run off to the side to get healed. Know where the health packs are at and how you can get healed and where you can get healed aside from your strategists. Don't rely on them. Again, you're in bronze and silver. Just expect that you won't get healed. Number 2 would be high ground control. Like Obi-Wan said, having the high ground is crucial. But seriously, high ground gives you 3 advantages. Better sight lines, easier escape routes, force enemies to look up while moving. If you've ever played Fortnite, I don't need to tell you why you need high ground. Next would be support sight lines. Here's something most bronze players never think about. Can your support actually see you? If you're spamming, I need healing, but you're behind 17 walls. That's on you, not on them. I know for a fact there were countless matches when I was playing with my friends earlier, again, going up into Bronze 2, going back to Bronze 3, up to Bronze 2, back to Bronze 3. If I were to ask them, when I saw them hard focusing on a character that they should not have been, by the way, but that's a different point. If I were to ask them, hey, do you know where our strategist is at the moment? They would have been like, what? That's the answer that they would have given me. So be cognizant of that. Now, don't rely on your strategist. Don't rely on your Vanguards to do the right things all the time, or really any of the time. However, play around them. If you're trying to 1v6, you're going to have a bad time. Okay, let's talk about team composition now. And I'm going to say something controversial. In Bronze and Silver, team comp matters less than you think, with one exception. Now, I know a lot of people online have been saying team comp matters less than you think, but people in Bronze and Silver aren't playing like team comp matters less than you think. I'm still seeing common 2 healers, 2 or 3 duelists, 1 or 2 vanguards. Like Doctor Strange said, there's only one way to win, and it involves having a support player who actually heals. Now, that is important, and Doctor Strange is always right, but I don't necessarily agree with that, although having a strategist in this game can be very powerful. I would say there's kind of a loose rule right now, even in the lower ranks, where there's kind of like a 1 Vanguard minimum and a 1 strategist minimum right now. That seems to work fairly well, and if you double up on those, it's even better if they're competent players. But for the most part, everything's flexible. There are exceptions to this rule, absolutely. Just, I wanted to throw that out there for anyone who needs a little bit more structure. But what if nobody wants to heal? Then you heal. Remember what we said earlier. Do you want to win, or do you want to play DPS? Because I'd rather play support and win than play DPS and lose my rank. So team comp doesn't matter all that much, and if something isn't working, if you're just getting absolutely slapped in the beginning, we've all been there, the first series where you're about to swap sides and everything, and your entire team has like 3 kills combined, maybe, if that, right? And it's just not looking good. Definitely suggest in the chat, if you want to, hey, why don't we all try to switch up our roles? Let's just switch to something different. This clearly isn't working. You think just going at them again with the exact same thing is going to work any better? Probably not. If they don't comply, you can still change what you are doing, and sometimes that might be enough to change the outcome of the game. I once was playing a game where I was playing Mantis, and I had maybe 5 or 6 kills in our first round, and we were losing horribly, and I ended up switching to Hela because our DPSs, well, let's just say they weren't doing good. I ended up getting 52 kills by the end of that. We went to overtime, and it ended up being a draw at the end of it. That match lasted so long. Talk about dragging our team to the finish line. And we didn't even win. Here's the thing though, I didn't go down in rank, so that was okay. See how I turned that game around from I was the only person to swap roles. I was the only one. The only thing that changed was me. I went from a strategist to a duelist. And we were able to take out their enemy Hawkeye, and their Spider-Man was giving our other strategist massive issues in the backline. That was heavily mitigated once I switched over. Again, it wasn't quite enough to win. Looking back on it, I'm not even sure. With my particular like mechanical skill set, I'm still not sure that we would have been able to win, even with me looking back and analyzing the situation. I'm still not sure, and you'll have games like that. But we went from a guaranteed loss to, hey, can we win this potentially? And that has happened multiple times where we ended up winning, actually, where me and or another character, we ended up swapping whatever our roles were, even within. Like, you don't have to switch from a duelist to a strategist or a vanguard. You can swap from one duelist to another duelist, or from one strategist to the next strategist. If something's not working, shake it up. Another piece I would like to add would be the 30-30-40 rule, which is roughly 30% of your games are almost guaranteed wins. You could almost not play and your team is still going to win. And you're going to have about 30% of your games to where no matter what you do, your team was destined to lose. The other team was just flat out better in almost every way. It doesn't matter if you were the king of Marvel Rivals of all time, you are the ultimate #1 in every position, your team would still lose. So you have 30% that are auto wins basically and 30% that are auto losses. Keep that in mind whenever you're playing. Be like, oh, this is a 30% auto loss. That stinks. Oh well. Here's the piece that's going to help you rank up the most. 40% of the games are games that are roughly in your control. So depending how much you tip the scales, you could very well win that game. Again, maybe you need to switch a character. Maybe someone else needs to switch a character. I don't know what that is exactly. Maybe it's your positioning, timing on something, a different route you guys need to go. Control that 40%. Manipulate that 40%, and this is what the best do, because even the best lose those 30% games. Again, they're guaranteed losses. You're gonna have games like that. But those 40% games, they end up winning a lot of those 40% games. That's how you get into the well above 50% win rate category, which when you're talking about ranked, anything above 50% is golden. Let's talk about the 3 biggest mistakes I see, which would be the Call of Duty syndrome. You're not playing team deathmatch. Stop pushing their spawn alone like you're trying to get a tactical nuke. This isn't Fortnite where you can build yourself out of bad positioning. Number 2 would be the main character syndrome. You're not the main character guy. Thor might be the god of thunder, but he still needs his team. Stop trying to 1v6 the enemy team. You're not in a Marvel movie. Although this is really cool and it's Marvel-like, you're not in a Marvel movie. You're not that guy, buddy. The ultimate hoarder. Your ultimate is not your retirement fund. Stop saving it for the perfect moment that never comes. If you can get 2 kills with it, use it. All right, let's wrap this puppy up. You've got until January 10th, and really I would say January 9th. Let's play it safe because it's really early on January 10th, depending on what time zone you're in, or even late on January 9th, again, depending where you're at in the world. So I would just expect, and who knows what servers are going to be like on the 9th as well. You don't have long at all. So January 9th, hit gold and get that Moon Knight skin. So remember, solo queue unless your friends are actually good. Stick to the heroes we discussed. Position smart, not hard, and always protect your support. Whether you're a Vanguard or you're a DPS, it doesn't matter. Protect your support. Drop a comment. Let me know which tip helped you the most, or drop a tip for other people that helped you the most. And don't forget to subscribe for more Marvel Rivals content. This is Prophet, and until next time, watch another one of my videos. Whoa, oh, that's what I did. Oh gosh. All right, well, you get the point. So this is, oh my goodness, this is getting terrible.